Hello and welcome to this week's edition of Income is the Outcome, where we believe it's not how much you earn, it's how much you keep. That's what's important, and that's what we're here to discuss today. I'm your host, Kristin Oakley, and joining me in the studio is the founder and president of the Whistler Agency, Tim Whistler. Tim, my friend, great to be here with you as always.
Great to be here with you, Kristin, as well.
Well, thank you. Well, I know we've got a jam-packed conversation for our viewers at home today. One of the things I so appreciate about Tim is his commitment to financial education and helping people understand all the different financial tools that are out there. And really, there's a lot of tools that are becoming more commonly used as folks are concerned about what may or may not be happening out in the economy. You know, the headlines get a lot of people nervous and concerned about their retirement income. So we wanted to share today about an important tool that we are seeing can be really beneficial for a lot of folks to solve that income issue in retirement. And we have to talk about all the tools, if we're being fair, right? Which means we've got to talk about the A word, which is?
Annuities.
Annuities.
Here it is.
All right. So before you're tempted to change the channel, we encourage you not to stick around. The reality is that not all annuities are created equal. There's a lot of information, a lot of misinformation, a lot of assumptions that are out there. So we're going to unpack all that today. Really, it's kind of annuities, the good, the bad, and the fine print, right?
Absolutely. I think that's the fair way of looking at it, because there are products out there that are not good, even though some people may think, oh, this is okay because it was advised by a professional.
Right. Yeah.
So we got to be careful about that.
You do have to be very careful. Yep. Well, it's interesting because, like it or not, annuity sales have skyrocketed. And during the first 9 months of 2024, total annuity sales increased 23% up to $331.2 billion. That's billion with a B. That's a huge number, Tim. Not all those people can be wrong.
No, that is a big number, and there is something that they're seeing that's either currently happening, or they're concerned about what is coming.
Yes.
Because I firmly believe that 2022 woke up a lot of people. We had been on a nice, casual, comfortable ride for a while, a little bit of a hiccup back in 2018. But all of a sudden, 2022 was like, boom, nope, this is not sustainable forever. So we have to be kind of cautious, I think, about what the market might look like year to year, and a specific type annuity can maybe provide that little bit of protection from those ups and downs of the market.
Yeah, so let's dive in deeply to this. Why do you think, I mean, you just kind of talked about it, but why is it that annuity sales have surged? What is it that they're providing that maybe people are going, yeah, I want that?
You know, I think, you know, when you look at specific types of annuities, and we'll get into the types here in just a second, but there's a couple of them that have that wonderful word called guaranteed. And when you can have that type of a word that says, hey, this is guaranteed to protect against volatility. That's a big deal, because again, we've established this throughout the conversations that Kristin and I have had all these weeks up even till today. We've talked about how in retirement, it's all about income, not ifcome. And the only way we can set that foundation for income is to make sure we have a foundation in place. And again, a couple of those annuities are designed to do exactly that for us in retirement.
Right. Well, and I've heard you say that's your number one goal for your clients, is protection of their wealth.
Yep.
And so to know that there are certain types of annuities out there that can help people capture some of the upside but prevent any downside risk, that's a game changer.
Yes, it's exactly right. It's so much fun. There's a very, very simple spreadsheet that I have in my office that I share when people come in. Unfortunately, I'm not going to just hand it out to everybody because it'll get abused, it'll get misunderstood. But it's a very simple spreadsheet that talks about randomized returns.
Randomized returns, okay.
It's basically another fancy term for sequence of returns risk. That's all it is. But we can utilize their dollars, we can utilize their withdrawal, kind of anticipated withdrawal amount they're going to take out, and then I'll show them on one side of the spreadsheet sequence of returns risk. And then I'll click a little button that says, okay, on this side over here, here's what's going to happen. All those negatives that you're seeing on that chart are going to turn to zero, and all those positives, you're going to get half of the gain. And when you think about that analogy, what do you think is going to happen? Do you think that end number is going to be higher or lower than the previous number? And I click that button, and which side do you want to be on? Well, we want to be on that side. And that's my point. When we can eliminate volatility from the equation and protect the assets that you built for decades, all the working, all the saving, all the sacrificing, and now those assets are going to be earmarked for retirement income, you have to put measures in place to protect against the sequence of returns risk and the downside that the market can deeply impact your retirement account values.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, going back to specifically this tool of annuities, you and I both know how important it is to understand the basics and really understand that there's different kinds out there, and not all annuities are created equal. Like we said, the good, the bad, and the fine print. So let's go through and talk about some of the different types of annuities that are out there, just so we can all be on the same page.
Absolutely. So when you Google the word annuities, prepare yourself to be
Inundated.
Inundated. It's a great word. And so let's simplify it. There's 4 members of the annuity family.
Okay.
The first member is what we call the SPIA, the single premium immediate annuity. If you look up the history of it, the immediate annuity was formed back in Roman times. Been around a little while, okay? So that's what a single premium immediate annuity is designed, where you give a lump sum of dollars to the life insurance company. Those are the people who issue annuities, or life insurance carriers. You give those dollars to them, and in return, they give you income for your lifetime. Now, what if your lifetime lasts for 2 years? What happens to the death benefit? It's just like Social Security. There's no death benefit.
Right.
Unless you select.
So you've lost that money that you put in, right?
So that might not be the ideal fit. We're just simply letting you know that's what a SPIA, a single premium immediate annuity. That's number 1. Number 2, fixed annuity. A fixed annuity is a CD on steroids. Right? It's the same analogy. You've got a fixed rate of return. That return is guaranteed for a number of years, 2, 3, all the way up to 10, whatever the case may be, and you're going to receive that interest rate every single year. Okay? It's issued by a life insurance company, and the nice thing about it, compared to like a CD, every time that CD matures, guess what you get in return? You get that 1099 I'm telling on you form.
Oh, I like that. The 1099 I'm telling on you form. I've not heard that before, but that's what it is,
that's
right?
That's what it is. Hey, you made money, I'm telling on you, so we're going to send this to the IRS. So, unlike that, a single, that type of a fixed annuity type of a product, if we're using after-tax dollars, like non-qualified dollars, for example, you actually can defer some of those interests that you earn. Okay? We won't go too far deep down that rabbit hole today, but that's what a fixed annuity is.
Okay.
The third member of the annuity family is what's called the variable annuity. Okay. If I can sum that up, just simply understand the word fees. The dreaded 4-letter F word in my world is called fees. I cannot stand that word. It's everywhere. If you look back at my background, you'll understand, you'll hear the story that I shared with you about my father, who was a blue-collar electrician for Caterpillar right there in Morton, Illinois, and at the recommendation of his CPA, took a lump sum of money and went to an A.G. Edwards advisor. A.G. Edwards, I think, is now Wells Fargo. And unfortunately, again, as most people, my dad is absolutely brilliant when it came to solving electrical problems, but with this type of world, he was a little bit uneducated. He didn't know what he didn't know. And unfortunately, that advisor took advantage of him by overcharging him fee after fee after fee. And the variable annuity will do the exact same thing to you. So you have to understand that when you hear the word variable, what does that mean for your account value? It will ebb and flow with the stock market. And inside of a variable annuity, you're not invested directly in the stock market, but you're directly invested in what they call sub-accounts, which is just like the market. It'll trend up, it'll trend down, but at the end of the day, Kristin, the average variable annuity contract charges the client anywhere between 2 and 4% per year.
And that's even if your account loses money, you're still going to be hit with that fee.
That's exactly right. And I still see tens of billions of dollars every year going to that thing.
Wow.
And that's where I understand completely where there's a lack of education being provided from the professional to the consumer.
Yep.
Because there's so much to unpack inside of that contract. Just be mindful. Now, if you own one, it's okay. We can talk through that. But if you're thinking about, well, this guy said this and this guy said this, just be very clear. You need to start asking a lot of questions, right?
Well, would it be fair to say that variable annuities have single-handedly been the type, if you will, that have given all the rest of annuities a bad reputation?
Absolutely, I would. I see a little bit of the SPIA involved because you lose the death benefit,
right?
And I see the ups and downs and the fees and the variable annuity. So I think people take those opinions from 2 different types of annuities, make a hybrid annuity out of it, and then provide that scathing opinion about it. And that's why, like, nope, I've heard about them, they're horrible. Yes, some of them are. Some of them we truly want to avoid. Some of them should be taken off the market. But unfortunately, they're there. So therefore, just like Kristin said at the beginning of the show, educating ourselves to understanding the different types. So we've gone through the SPIA, the single premium immediate annuity. We've gone through the fixed. We've gone through the variable. And the newest member of the annuity family has actually been around for 30 years once we turned the calendar to 2025. The fixed indexed annuity was created back in 1995. And I love the premise behind it because you think about what was happening back in the 80s and early 90s. People who wanted to save for retirement and have income for retirement were taking dollars, going into the local bank, buying a 10, 12, 14% CD, walking out with a free toaster,
right,
and laddering their CDs, right?
Yep.
Because they lived off the interest. Well, interest rates started to fall. Once interest rates started to fall, these people are kind of, they're on an island. Like, where do we go now? What do we do? Life insurance companies responded by saying, these people have no tolerance for risk. They're CD owners. They want the safety. They like the returns. That's how the fixed index annuity was created. It was created in mind never to compete with the stock market, not to supersede or overshadow the variable, the fixed, or the immediate annuity, but to give CD owners an alternative position to hold their dollars when interest rates started to fall. And it's called a fixed index annuity because now the dollars are protected from volatility, but we have the opportunity to earn interest greater than what maybe banks are paying because we can get some type of return that mirrors the positive gains from the stock market.
Interesting. Yeah, and that's the key difference, right, with the fixed indexed annuity is you might not capture all the upside of the market, but what happens when the stock market goes down?
Right. We take a zero.
You don't lose anything.
We don't lose anything.
Yeah.
We call that winning by not losing. And there is such a powerful reaction to that. When you see the market going down, I don't care if it goes down 1% or goes down 38% like it did in 2008. That is devastating to see that. It's out of your control.
That's your hard-earned money.
Right. You're diversified.
Right.
Kristin, I'm diversified. Why am I losing money? Because diversification doesn't mean safety. We have to have the element of protection to protect that account value from going down. And the trade-off is, how I kind of explain the fixed annuity is this simple phrase. You get some of the up, but you avoid all of the down. And going back to that spreadsheet, that randomized return spreadsheet where all those negative years turn to zeros and all the positives, you get a portion of it. You're not limited just to half the growth. We're not stereotyping any type of one particular fixed index annuity. But again, we have the ability to understand that we can participate in market-like gains without taking the market losses.
Well, no doubt some of our folks watching today are going, hey, sign me up for that. I wasn't aware of this, I didn't know, but they might be asking themselves the question, could an annuity like that be right for me? So if someone is asking that question, what would you want to say to them?
I would say that, again, if you're sitting with a professional and you kind of feel like it's almost like a timeshare presentation, like you're being sold something, run away. Because we don't take the position of trying to fit your portfolio into an annuity. We're going to take the position of understanding, hey, is this even a right fit for your portfolio? Does it serve the purpose that you need for retirement? And we don't know that until we have that get acquainted conversation. So that's why we encourage you to reach out, talk to our team member, jump on our calendar. Let's have the get acquainted conversation, and let's talk through what does retirement mean to you, and let's inventory all of your assets, your income options, and start to create that income plan for you and to see maybe if there's a right fit for an annuity or not. But at the end of the day, we're trying to create that income plan for you that's customized for your retirement.
Wonderful. Tim, thank you so much. If you would like to have help putting together your complimentary written financial plan and maybe you're wondering, okay, could an annuity be right for me? Like Tim said, it starts with having this invitation to have a conversation. It's completely complimentary to you. So we invite you to pick up the phone, call the number on the bottom of your screen, 888-992-7829 to schedule your time to come in and sit down and have this meeting. Or if you'd rather connect online, you can simply pull out your smartphone, just open up the camera app. You can point, click, and scan that QR code that you see there down in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That will take you over to a landing page, ask you a few short, simple questions, and then a member of the team from the Whistler Agency will reach out to connect with you to schedule your complimentary meeting that way as well. Don't go anywhere. We're going to continue this conversation of could an annuity be right for you right after this.
The way I view this, numbers are amoral. It's the people behind the numbers that I like to learn about. What does retirement look like for them? What are they going to do with these numbers? How long do they think these numbers need to last them? What type of legacy plan do they want to leave for their kids and their grandkids? That's kind of that first dynamic of the conversation is more just along the lines of, getting acquainted and just kind of discovering what it is that we're working with. If they've ever sat through a timeshare presentation, this is completely the opposite. There is no sales pressure whatsoever, no obligation, there's no risk involved. It's just a simple 1-hour conversation. I think a successful retirement is all about having a plan, because if you think about the unfortunate situations where professional athletes go bankrupt just a few years after they end their professional career, these people have earned tens of millions, maybe even hundreds of millions of dollars, and then they're bankrupt. I just firmly believe that happened because there was no plan. Not only just for the immediate, but also kind of for the foreseeable future, and we can always reflect back on that plan and make sure we're on the right track. When interest rates are low, you might be able to refinance your home, your car, and even your credit cards. Yet when interest rates go up, it may make sense to refinance your retirement. Higher interest rates could provide income opportunities you may not be aware of. What works for your portfolio during low interest rates may not work for you when interest rates are high. Call today for your complimentary Refi Your Retirement review.
Welcome back to Income is the Outcome, where today we are answering the question of, is an annuity right for me? You might be sitting there wondering, okay, I've heard that all annuities are bad, but we've already talked about on today's show that not all annuities are created equal. There's different kinds of types, and really, it's just one of many financial tools that might accomplish a certain purpose within your overall financial plan. That's the key, right? This is never a one-size-fits-all strategy. It's not, oh, put all your money into any one of these things, right?
That's exactly right. You know, having that whole adage of don't put all your eggs in one basket, but understand the vehicles that are available to us, and understand too that the conversations we have with our clients are not based upon product. They're based upon meeting a need. And I don't know what that need is until they come in and we sit down and we start talking about some things. We look at the assets, we look at the strategy to create income. How is the IRS going to play into that equation? We need to also take volatility off the table. Again, you don't ever want to have all of your dollars in the bank. You don't want to have all your dollars in the stock market. You don't want to have all your dollars in an annuity. You want to have them spread out so that way every account that you have has purpose behind its place in retirement.
Well, you mentioned the fixed indexed annuity. Obviously, it's been around now for 30 years. It accomplishes certain goals, and really what it does is captures some of the upside of the markets without any of the downside. I know a lot of folks listening might go, hey, Tim, that sounds a little too good to be true. So can you explain how that actually works?
Absolutely. So again, one of the things that we talk through is suitability. Is this even suitable for what the client's looking to do? So we don't even get into this conversation until we know for sure, hey, this might be a good fit. Let me kind of show you what might be an alternative and shifting some dollars from where they're at to where they might be. So if we look at that world, okay, then how does the life insurance company do that? So we have ways of earning interest in a couple different ways. Number one, the thing I really like about the fixed index annuity, it has no fees. The base policy has no fees. That makes my world so good.
Yes.
I love that. For the fact that you do not have to pay a fee to the advisor, to the insurance company to use this vehicle for a portion of your dollars to eliminate volatility and have the opportunity for some gains. So right out of the chute, we're off to a good start.
Yes.
So then how do we earn interest on that? Well, again, we have a menu. Every carrier that offers these indexed annuities will offer a menu of different types of, interest returns, if you will. So even a fixed bucket. So even if we're like, hey, it's great to know that, hey, our dollars are protected from volatility, but I'm not real comfortable. I don't think the market's going to be higher a year from now than it is today. Well, let's throw some dollars in the fixed bucket and get a rate of return for that next calendar year. That's one way of doing it. Another way they do it is they provide different menus of indexes. Like, for example, a lot of the carriers that we work with will offer a position in the S&P 500. That's a very popular index. So again, when you're partnering with a life insurance company, you get some of the up but avoid all of the down. And that some of the up is determined by like a cap rate. So for example, you might see that indexed annuity carrier say, if you put dollars in the S&P 500 index, it has a cap of 6.5%, hypothetically. That means if that S&P is worth more a year from now, if it's worth more than it started, you get everything up to 6.5%. If it goes up 30, you get 6.5%. If it goes down at all, you take a zero.
Meaning you don't lose anything.
Don't lose anything. You have the same dollars. So I remember back just a couple years ago, my 2023 reviews with clients, when we came out of 2022, it was interesting how nearly every client said the same thing. Well, at least I didn't lose anything this past year. And then you go into my 2024 reviews, and all of a sudden, when the market recovered in 2023, guess what they did? They built on the same number they had from the previous year. That's a glorious place to be. You never, ever have to recover from a volatility situation at all with the stock market. And that's kind of the premise of how the interest can be gained and earned. And then every single time you have an anniversary on that policy, we can reposition and reallocate. So we can stay current with market trends to, again, give us the opportunity for some gains, but eliminate the fear of ever losing anything to market volatility.
You know, as you were talking, Tim, it reminded me too, it really depends on the age and stage of life you're in as you're planning for your retirement. Is there an ideal time where folks might want to think about taking some of the money out of the stock market and maybe moving it into something like a fixed indexed annuity? When is the best time to start paying attention to making some of these transitions?
You know, that's a great question, and I think just thinking through historical conversations that I've had, I usually start having this specific type of conversation with folks who are probably, I would say, within maybe 10 years of retirement. A lot of people don't plan that far out, but there are a few. I will have a conversation where we're thinking about 10. Okay, great. Let's get the conversation rolling.
The sooner they start, the easier it's going to be, right?
Absolutely. There's less adjustments we have to make.
Yes.
But what we really see this really making a powerful impact is when we get to that magical age of 59 and a half. Again, if you go back and watch the episode where Kristin and I talked about the timeline, we talked about 59 and a half, and that's basically the year in which now you have access to all these account values, these retirement income accounts. If you work for a company who offers you that in-service distribution, now all of a sudden that's where a lot of the clients are saying, they're like, okay, I'm not retiring yet from ABC Company, but I've got a pretty sizable 401k with ABC Company. I want to protect this because I can see retirement just down the road. It's coming, it's coming, and it's going to come quickly. So let's go ahead and shift those dollars, and this vehicle here is usually the one that we like to go to because of the fact they know those dollars are going to be there for them.
Yes.
And then we can continue to build an opportunity for gains until we actually get to that retirement year.
Yes, and that age 59 and a half, again, if you're not aware, that is the point in time which you can access this money without an early withdrawal penalty. If you try to access money, let's say in your 401k or traditional IRAs or whatnot prior to age 59 and a half, you're going to be hit with that early withdrawal penalty.
That's exactly right. So there has to be some planning involved. So, you know, to Kristin's point, understanding the different ages and what we can do is vital to having that plan. So we just encourage you to pick up the phone and call, because not only when you come in and sit down and have that conversation with us will you leave that conversation with a copy of my book, but also for you to have an opportunity to learn a little bit more about the power that annuities can provide to you in retirement. We sponsor the showing of a movie that's called The Baby Boomer Dilemma. And it had some incredible success here throughout Central Illinois. But what I want to do for those of you who call in, if you decide to come in and have that conversation with us, I'm going to provide you with a gift card. So you can stream this movie in the comfort of your own home. It's an 85-minute movie. It's not long at all. Don't pop a big corn of, you know, a bowl of popcorn, right? You won't go through, you'll go through it pretty quick. But it's only an 85-minute movie. But the point of it is, you'll hear from Nobel Prize winners and PhDs, completely separate from the financial services industry, just talking about the power of protecting your assets in retirement. So again, we'll just encourage you to pick up the phone, have the conversation with us. We'll give you a gift card so you can stream The Baby Boomer Dilemma and watch this movie and learn a little bit more about the power of annuities in retirement.
Wow, Tim, I'm excited for more folks to get to connect, and we know how powerful that movie is and that you're definitely going to want to see it and what it means for you. So again, all this is available to you simply by picking up the phone and calling the number on the bottom of your screen, 888-992-7829, or again, you're welcome to scan that QR code and that will get you connected as well. We'll be back with more right after this.
So we're based out of Peoria, Illinois. I literally just opened this office literally about a month ago, because the last 6 years I've been working out of my home office, and that was for just family reasons. My wife and I have 2 sons, and they're now starting to get to that age where they're about ready to fly the coop. So it's just good to be with them for these last few years. We are on the main level of a 3-story professional office building. So as soon as they enter through the large double doors, they immediately turn to their left, and there's the entrance to the Whistler Agency. So we're very easily accessible for people, you know, right off the street. You know, you park in the parking lot, walk the sidewalk, you come in the door, and you're right there. And when they come in, there'll be a couple little seats there in the small little entryway, if you will. Most people aren't really waiting to get to me. I'm not like a doctor's office or anything like that. But then we've got a little receptionist area, and then I walk them through our conference room. The conference room table is actually a dining room table for my grandmother. I just bring a little bit of the element of family in my practice, and just kind of have our conversation right there. Do you own an annuity? Are you aware of what type of annuity you own? For years, annuities have been a cornerstone of retirement planning, but they're not all created equal, and your current annuity might not be serving your retirement goals. With rising interest rates, that could mean better guarantees and better benefits for you. In short, potentially more income. Is your annuity up to date? See if your old annuity measures up. Call now for your complimentary annuity review.
Well, welcome back to Income is the Outcome. I'm Kristin Oakley here with Tim Whistler, and today we've been addressing the question that you might be asking yourself, is an annuity right for me? We know that not all annuities are created equal, but they can be a powerful tool if it's the right kind of annuity, the right tool to accomplish the right goal that you have in your own financial life. And this is why it's not a cookie cutter approach.
That's absolutely right.
It really depends on each individual situation. We were talking during the break, I know you have a powerful story of a couple where a fixed indexed annuity was a really good situation for them. Do you want to share why that was?
Absolutely. So Rick and Amy came in and saw me not too long ago. It's been a couple years now we've been working together just off of a simple radio ad. And Rick was kind of getting in the twilight of his career at Caterpillar, had done a fantastic job of saving their money. They managed their money very, very well. But like most people, they were just concerned about preserving
what they'd accumulated.
Exactly right. They want to protect it.
Yeah.
And I introduced them to that fixed indexed annuity. But the beautiful thing about it was they were also very concerned about outliving their money. They understood the principle of protecting it, but now they're still like, well, how much of it can we withdraw without losing any of it or how outliving it? So inside the fixed indexed annuity contract is the optional rider. So basically you can have what's called a lifetime income benefit. It's a pension. You can take your traditional IRA, your Roth IRA, non-qualified dollars, put it inside this vehicle that provides that, I can't say perfect scenario, but ideal scenario where you now can actually create your own personal pension. And that's exactly what Rick and Amy did. And we just met not too long ago to do a review of some things. And it's just so refreshing to see how much stress that takes away, how much more confidence because they know they haven't even turned the income on yet.
Right.
We're still waiting for a period of time. We haven't even turned on Amy's Social Security yet, but the point of it is, it's there, it's waiting for them. When they flip that switch, here comes income from that portfolio, from that asset. It's protected from volatility. Even if it's exhausted all the way to zero, they still have that income for the rest of their lives together.
Because it's a contract from the insurance company and they are obligated to fulfill that.
That's exactly right, and they will. So it's a fantastic vehicle, again, when it's the right fit for what the client's looking to do.
Right. What are a few other quick benefits, specifically regarding the fixed indexed annuity? One
time, every now and then somebody might ask me, okay, this is great. I understand this and this and this, but what happens if I die? Okay, you'll see on the column of your statement, you'll see account value, you'll see surrender value, you'll see death benefit. There is a death benefit attached to one of these. So heaven forbid you slip into eternity way too soon. Maybe you just got into retirement, you just turned on lifetime income, or you haven't taken anything out of it yet, and the policy owner passes away. The death benefit will be passed on to the beneficiary at the same level that the account value is. In other words, there's no fees, there's no charges. Whatever's in that account value gets passed on as a death benefit directly to the beneficiaries named by that policyholder.
Wow. Well, no doubt a lot of folks watching are going, okay, I need to learn more about this for myself. Or we know that you might be watching and you have an existing annuity contract. That's something that you would be happy to review with folks to see if what they currently have is in fact in their best interest, right?
Let's have the conversation, look through it, because if it's still a right fit, we'll keep it in there and we'll just leverage those assets for retirement.
Right. And if there's a different situation that could be better, you're going to let them know.
We'll talk through that.
Awesome. Well, Tim, always a joy to be with you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining us. Again, we invite you to pick up the phone, call that number 888-992-7829. Not only are you going to receive a complimentary written financial plan from Tim, you're going to get a free gift card to be able to stream that important movie, The Baby Boomer Dilemma, as well. Be safe, be happy, be blessed, and we look forward to being back with you next time here on Income is the Outcome.